Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to review this Dell Inspiron 7415 14-inch 2-in-1 laptop and its gaming performance in 2022. But before that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe down below, and thank you for watching. Alright, so let's talk about this 2021 Dell Inspiron 7415 14-inch 2-in-1 laptop. It features full HD touch display as well as the AMD Ryzen 5 5500U processor, 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM running at 3200 MHz, 256 GB SSD, and Vega 7 integrated graphics. Now this specific model here is the last year's model, 2021. It was the base one that retailed for around $800, and now you can find this on Amazon or Best Buy for around $600, and maybe if you're lucky you might pick this up used for around $400 to $500, which I think is a really good price for this. Because if you stay in at that higher price, $600 to $800, you could score yourself a really nice gaming laptop that would run circles on something like this. But what's special about this laptop is the AMD chip. That's right, the Ryzen 5 5500U features 6 cores, 12 threads, max boost clock up to 4 GHz, base clock 2.1 GHz, 3 megs L2 cache, 8 megs L3 cache, and 15 watt TDP, and of course the Vega 7 integrated graphics, which allows you actually to play just about any game out there, at least on 720p, with playable FPS. Don't expect anything crazy, but the fact is how small and light this thing is, and the battery on this is fantastic. It's really amazing. I was really impressed. Something like this you take on the go and you're able to, play some games, at least continue on for something at home. You have a rig and you want to take this thing on the go, continue your game. It's really perfect for that, and I was really amazed. Specifically for this model here, this 14-inch feels really solid. It's pretty basic, nothing special about this thing. It does have the backlit keyboard. It has the HDMI port on the left, a 1.4B I believe, one USB 3.1 right here, one USB-C, and on the right side you have another USB 3.1, and also you have the audio jack and an SD card. And that's how you charge this laptop, with the USB-C cable. Now there's only one there, so you could use an adapter from what I understand and have this thing plugged in and plug in other stuff, or also you could use the USB-C for a video feed, perhaps a 4K display or something like that. But other than that, it's a pretty basic laptop, but I just like the look of it, and I think the display is pretty nice. It's not the brightest, but it's good enough for me, especially if you're sitting at a close range. It really does the job. So that's about it for the laptop. One other thing that's important I wanted to mention is how easy it is to upgrade this thing. This is the base model, but don't worry, as long as you get this for a good price, this thing could be easily upgraded. You just flip this thing over, there's a bunch of screws in the back, pop it open, and boom, you got access to RAM and the SSD. So don't worry, start off with this. As long as you get it for a good price, you could upgrade stuff down the line, and that's really the way to go with this specific laptop here. So without further ado, let's get into those gaming benchmarks, so stay tuned for that. So one last quick thing, I just want to show you my setup that I like to use when I'm testing laptops, especially when it comes to gaming. So what I have here is a cooling pad, which definitely is going to help out with the temperatures. This is a Cooler Master, it has 3 exhaust fans, and also this laptop will be plugged in the whole time to get that extra FPS. I'm sure you're well aware by now that if the laptop is plugged in to the wall, you are going to get better performance, and that's what I want to show you. I want to show you the best possible results here, so you kind of get an idea what's the best performance you can get out of this thing. Also, I will have it connected to this little monitor here, and that's where I'm going to record it off of. I am going to stay with the 720p resolution on all the games, and Also, I'll be using this Xbox Afterglow controller for better convenience. So, yep, that's pretty much it. So, without further ado, let's jump right into those benchmarks. And the first test is Cinebench R20. So, for the multi-core, we got a score of 2571. Looks like just above the i7-7700K, which is a desktop processor, and that's kind of impressive because this processor is still good even in 2022, which I will be eventually doing a video on that. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, that way you can stay tuned to my latest videos. Now, for the single core, we have a score of 459. And that's pretty good for a mobile processor. Again, we're in direct competition with the old i7-7700K, which has an excellent single core score here of 476. So in my opinion, that's pretty impressive. This mobile processor came a really long way, and I have nothing bad to say about it. So let's jump into the next benchmark. And here is CPUZ. And I've tested it against the i7-8700K, which has similar core count and thread. And again, I am impressed again for this mobile processor here. It comes in within 2% of the i7-8700K, which is really a legendary processor, and it was the king for quite a few years. And yeah, single core is just about the same, within 2%. And pretty much the same thing here with the multi-core, about 2 to 3% difference. Yeah, it's really fantastic. So now we're gonna jump into some gaming benchmarks finally. When it comes to Fortnite, you're definitely not gonna have any issues running it with this laptop. It totally crushes it, even on 1080p. So this is pretty much the only game I'm gonna test out on 1080p. Because it really could handle it. Now, as you can see, we have 1080p full screen on the lowest preset, and I am using the performance beta for the rendering mode just to get that maximum FPS. Yeah, you're definitely gonna have plenty of performance here if you want to stay at this resolution, and that's what I like with these modern graphics cards. The drivers really make it easier to run these games versus something older like an older potato, where the graphics card should be technically strong enough to run these games, but just because they're old and the driver support is really no longer available, and as you know, these games get updated quite frequently and make it harder and harder to run for the older hardware, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. I think that they do it on purpose. I'm sure you've noticed that if you try to run Fortnite now with some older graphics cards, they're not really performing as well as they did 2-3 years ago. So that's just another thing. So that's 1080p here. Now let's really quickly jump to 720 and just kind of get an idea what kind of a crazy frame rates we could get. Here it is, 720p. Very nice. Okie dokie. And yep, same settings. Let's take a look what we got here. Okay. A little bit more FPS, and yes, expect the fans kick in on this laptop here when you're playing the game, especially with the VSync off. Yeah, you're gonna hear the fans. Oh, so it looks like get a little bit more FPS on 720, and probably about 20 extra FPS on average. Not bad. And don't forget, I have this laptop plugged in to get that extra FPS. So your results may vary. Alright, that concludes it for this game. On to the next one. Halo Infinite is playable on this laptop as well. What I have here is the lowest possible settings. Can't go any lower than 1363 by 767. If you go a little, if there was a way to, I'm sure I got a little bit more FPS, but nevertheless it is playable. And of course I have every setting turned off, even the motion blur and screen shake, just to get an extra FPS. But like I said, nevertheless it is quite playable, and we should be averaging around 30 FPS here. Not bad at all. Oh no. There you go. Well, you be the judge. What do you guys think? I think it runs pretty fine for what it is. Again, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you want the best, most accurate benchmarks, then you come to the right place. Alright, let's jump into the next game. Resident Evil 8 is playable as well. Let's take a look at the settings here. Full screen, we're doing 1280 by 720p, and VSync off. We're running on interlace rendering mode, and every option on the low, just to get that maximum FPS. But you do have some room to make the visuals better and still have the game playable. I'm not gonna get into that. Just want to show you what's the full capability, the maximum FPS that you could get off this laptop.
What the hell?
Look at that. We are in the 50s here on the average. Very nice. This laptop does it all. And did I mention the multitasking on this thing? Fantastic, I tell you. And as I mentioned earlier before that, you know, that's the good thing about the newer graphics cards, that the drivers are compatible. And this game, unfortunately, they made it pretty hard to run with older tech. So like, for instance, the NVIDIA's GTX 700 and 600 series, they technically can't run this game anymore because of the drivers, even though they have the horsepower. There is a workaround on it, but who wants to do all that when you could just jump into a laptop like this and play any game you want? All you gotta do is just lower the settings and resolution, and you got yourself a really good little gadget here. Very nice. Alright, there's just one last game left, and that'll wrap it up. So finally we come into the end of the video here. The one last game, Elden Rings. That's right, you could even run this game on this laptop as well. So here it is, full screen, 1280 by 720, and we are on the absolute lowest settings. Everything turned off or on the lowest possible quality, just to get that little extra juice. And here it is. Again, it's quite playable. Now, sure, the visuals are not going to be the best, but at this resolution, not bad. Not bad at all. So what's my conclusion? Yes, this particular laptop is excellent, as long as you get it at a good price. I'd say the sweet spot is about $400 for a used one. And this thing, like I said, does it all. It's on the go. Here it is. We are outside and it's still playable. Now this is definitely the hardest game I'm running in this video. It is quite a bit more graphically demanding than other games, but nevertheless it is still working. So that's it. That concludes it for this video here. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. But wait, first I'm gonna end it here. You know what's gonna happen. I'm in no chance here. Bye-bye. That's it, goodbye.